sisters, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for the support so far. And by the looks of the title, you know this is going to be a deep one. So I'm humbly asking you to bear with me on this one, okay? This is going to be a very emotional but inspiring topic. So, with that being said, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell a friend to tell a friend about my channel, and let's get right into Okay, sis. So, I don't know where to start. I mean, it's been a long and hard journey for me. I haven't necessarily been dwelling in my pain, I should say. I think now I'm at a better place. So now, fast forward, it's been 13, 14, maybe 15 years. I can now talk about it. I haven't spoken about this in a long time, okay? I have never had the chance to really open up about it, and I figure why not use my platform on my channel to do that and perhaps help another young lady that may have been going through the same thing as me, or another young lady that is feeling distraught, broken, lost, as I once did. Okay, this is a disclaimer. By no means necessary am I trying to put this individual down or defame his character, but more so I am enlightening the fact that we need to protect our queens, okay? Our queens are out here going through some things behind closed doors, okay? Behind the scenes that nobody is aware about. Particularly, I am one of them. And I am all about empowering women, young women, and letting them know that you are not alone. You are not alone, sis. And I am more than okay with making myself a living example that your past does not define your future. You can rise above it. And if you were once a victim like me, use my story to inspire you. And I don't know you, but I love you. You are loved. You are cared for. And I want to see you be okay. I want to see you win. Don't believe what you went through has the opportunity to stifle you, because it doesn't. With that being said, let's get into it. So this is what really happened in my 13-year marriage, okay? I was in an abusive marriage. Now, people may say, well, why do you stay, and you're dumb for loving someone like that, and you're dumb for staying, and all this stuff. But you know what? I'm not gonna feed into any type of negativity right now. I'm just gonna tell you my story, and elaborate on it. And you can comment down below and say how you feel after watching the video. That is more than fine, but I'm just gonna be an open book right now, I jotted some things down. I know that my mind is going to be all over the place during this video. I even popped my lashes off because I know I'm going to cry, y'all. So just bear with me, okay? First and foremost, I just want to say that being in an abusive relationship or marriage is never easy. It's never easy. And you don't see it coming. You never will expect that of the person that you're with.
I want my tablet.
And yeah, you never see it coming. You never expect it, and you will never feel like the person you love will subject you to something like that. But it often happens, and you just have to accept it when it happens at the moment, and try to come to terms that this is your new reality. And it's a hard pill to swallow, sis, but you're definitely gonna get to a point where you're gonna be in denial. But at some point, you have to just accept that this is your new reality, and you did nothing wrong to deserve such behavior or such treatment from the one you love. It's never your fault. Don't let anybody convince you that it's your fault for being treated horribly. Okay? Being in an abusive relationship, it becomes a tug of war. In a sense where you're trying so hard to please this person. You're trying so hard to find the means to keep them comfortable and secure within the relationship so that they can stop ill treating you. But then it becomes a tug of war because, like, you're still unhappy. You're still trying to come to terms with what is happening to you at the time. And it almost becomes like, you're asking yourself, well, if this person loves me, why are they treating me like this? But then again, you don't want to give them a reason to treat you like that either. So you're overcompensating. You're overcompensating for what the person is doing to you, and they are not considering that. They're not considering the fact that you just want to make them happy and be happy. So that's why it becomes a tug of war. You're still expected to have sex and cater to this person and the whole nine as if you're happy when you're not. I mean, I can speak from my experience. That was the hardest part for me because I'm a Taurus. Everybody knows Tauruses don't put up with BS. They will tolerate it for as long as they can, but then they just eventually explode. So I took as much as I could take. But when you're a wife, especially, your responsibility as a wife never ends. You can't just get up and turn it off. You are obligated to fulfill your duties as a wife. So if that means still having sex and still cleaning the house and still making 3 meals a day and still providing and doing all the things that is required of you as a loving, caring wife, you have no choice. You have to. And this is why I said it's a tug of war, because it becomes something where if you're slacking at least one area, if you're slacking in one area, then it is used against you. Okay? It's used as a reason, no matter how small. It's used as a reason against you to keep ill-treating you and to keep doing hurtful things to you. But when you're married, there's no turning it off. You're in it. You're in it, and whatever reason that that person has for abusing you or ill treating you, it doesn't matter at that point because you're obligated. You swore before God that no matter what, you would fulfill those duties. And that's the hard part. For me, my husband used to, he used to force himself on me and tell me that I own you. You can't deny me. You know, he used to tell me that he could do whatever he wants to me because I'm his wife. And by law, by rights, he's right. When you get married, you become someone else's property, somebody's responsibility. You are, you know, sadly, that's what marriage is. And yeah, it makes it hard for you to heal. It makes it hard for you to absorb because now it's no longer passionate sex. It's no longer, babe, how was your day today? It's no longer, I miss you and I can't wait to come home to you. Now it's just cold, and there's a distance between the both of you, and you're both trying to cope with your relationship falling apart, because that's really what it is. Your relationship is falling apart, but because you took an oath and because you're bonded, it's like you're just taking it day by day and just trying to survive another day. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you're just trying to survive another day, even if that means to have just make sure that his dinner is ready, but he doesn't eat dinner with you when he gets home. Even if that means that he spends hours out there doing God knows what, and you're at home waiting for him. No phone call, no nothing to see if you're okay. Even if that means allowing him to force himself on you, allowing him to have cold sex with you, you know? And it can be disheartening because you're wondering, like, what happened to all the love that we had? What happened to, I was your world and you loved me so much? What happened to that? How can you treat me this way all of a sudden? Does it make sense in your head to treat me like this? But like I said, there's never a direct reason why they start treating you bad. And you can't heal staying in it, but it's like you have no choice but to try and heal while you're in it. And it's impossible. It's impossible. You now find yourself trying to comfort him and his insecurities more than your own, because you're broken, you're in disbelief, you're in denial. You can't believe that someone you love so much is like treating you like trash, literally. But then you try to have understanding and you try to say, okay, maybe he's just going through something right now in life and he needs me to comfort him, or maybe something, the dynamic of our marriage or relationship is making him insecure, or something is bothering him. Like, you know, as a loving wife or girlfriend, You want to always show your partner that you're willing to be there. You're willing to be their rock no matter what. And I think that was my downfall in my marriage. I stayed because I wanted to show him, like, this isn't no fake love. Like, I got you regardless. I'm going to be here regardless. And I think the hard part for me was we were literally best friends. We were best friends. And that was one thing that we cherished the most about our relationship, because we saw a lot of couples around us that it's almost like they were together just for show, but they had no real connection. And we had, like, we were literally best friends. Like, we would do nothing without each other. Nothing, okay? And I found myself trying to comfort him, trying to figure out what's the problem, like, why all of a sudden are you being so rough with me, so to speak. But it's like the more I try to comfort him is the more I forgot about comforting myself, because I was losing myself as a woman. I was so confused. And I'm pretty sure a lot of women can relate to this. Like, you get confused. You start to ask yourself some questions you never thought you'd ask. Your mind starts to wander. And there's no way for you to get answers to those questions in the midst of it, because you don't want to cause any more havoc. You don't want to cause any more arguments. It's like you're living on eggshells. It's like you're living on eggshells, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, because the slightest move you make and the slightest thing you say can escalate things. It can trigger him. It can push him to the edge. It can give him another reason to take things up a notch and do even worse to you. It's like, it's a lot, okay? Now it gets to a point where you're hiding your pain and your scars from everyone, your family, your friends. And personally for me, I remember having to put on a whole bunch of makeup just to go to work, on various body parts. I remember having to smile at Thanksgiving dinner with the family. I remember having to just pretend like everything was okay, when I knew deep down inside I was scared for my life. I was terrified, because when you get married, you think, okay, this is it. Like, I'm gonna build with this person. We're gonna go after our dreams together. We're gonna have kids together. Like, you tell yourself that, all right, this is it. So when things start going bad in your marriage, it's like, wait, hold up. What am I gonna do now? Like, this was my game plan. Like, this was all I had to look forward to. What am I going to do now if my marriage fails? And that was another thing that used to scare the hell out of me, because I had young children at the time. They were very young. Very young. I think my second child wasn't born yet, but my oldest was 3 or 4 years old. Okay? And I had to continue to put a smile on my face for the sake of my children. I didn't want them to see the pain and the hurt that I was going through, because I didn't want them to remember mommy as a broken woman, an angry woman. I didn't want my children to have that memory of me. So you hide it. You hide your pain. You pretend like you're happy. You convince yourself that you are gonna be okay, because that's the only sense of hope you have left while in an abusive relationship. You tell yourself everything's gonna be okay. You know, this is just for a time. It's gonna pass by. You know, he's gonna come back to himself. He's gonna start doing right by us again. And you tell yourself these things because it's the only hope you have left. And any good woman wants her family to be happy. Any good woman will not give up on her family, because that's what we are taught. We're taught to be strong no matter what. We're taught to hold our head high. But is it worth the cost of our life? Is it worth the cost of whatever self-love and dignity we have? Is it worth the cost of becoming another statistic, another stereotype? Is it worth the cost of your inner confidence? Is it worth it? Now, I was very good at pretending and hiding my pain from everyone around me, including my parents. And when you're in an abusive relationship, it gets to the point where you're so ashamed and you're so embarrassed that you start talking to your friends and family less. You start isolating yourself because you're embarrassed. You're ashamed that you even tolerate it or stay or allow this person to treat you like this. And you know they're gonna bash you, and you try to save yourself that, so you start to isolate yourself. And I did it well, okay? I did it very well. Nobody had a clue. But when things started to hit the fan, like really hit the fan, and I mean like I'm in and out the hospital, you know, he's coming to my job creating a scene. He's like, you know, he's just doing a lot of things, a lot of vile things. And when the government gets involved, and it's like restraining order after restraining order after restraining order after restraining order, DCF and police and court, the whole works. When things start to hit the fan, then it's like a slap in your face, like, okay, when are you gonna tell yourself enough is enough? Like, how much more needs to happen before you run for dear life, before you consider everybody else around you but yourself? And I think that's why a lot of family and friends, like when they do have an idea or an inkling that you are unhappy in a relationship or experiencing abuse in some type of manner, they do try to intervene. They do try to push their opinions on you, because they're on the outside looking in, sis. They see clear as day. They could see better than you can that's in it. Because when you're in it, you can't see. It's two different visions. When you're in it, you're blinded by the fact that you're in love with the person. You're blinded by the fact that you to consider what they're doing to be so horrible because you want it to get better. You're telling yourself that you can help this person change and you can help them do right. But the people on the outside are like, girl, no. Like, you're slowly killing yourself by staying. It's the shame and the guilt and the embarrassment that made me stay. I can't speak for nobody else, but that's what made me stay. Because I was in a 13-year relationship with this man, marriage relationship. I was married, okay? with 2 young children. And one thing that me and my husband discussed before we even got married and had kids is how much it meant to us that our kids had a better childhood than we did. It meant the world to us that before we even say I do, that we were on the same page as far as having a family and what we wouldn't do to our children and what we, how we wanted to be as parents. And to see all of that going downhill was the number one sign for me to know that, I can't hold on anymore. Because he's not holding on to what we pledged before we said I do. He's not holding on to the fact that this is not what we planned. Now let me tell you something. I tried counseling numerous of times, okay? I must have spent about $4,000 on counseling with my husband. And he would go to one or two, and then he would find an excuse why he didn't want to go anymore. I went to the pastor that married us. He was counseling us at one point, and he turned to me and he said, this man, he doesn't value his family. And when a man doesn't value his family, you're fighting a losing battle. And I still didn't give up, guys. I still didn't give up. Because for me, it's like, my kids are not gonna go through this. My kids are not gonna be a statistic, another set of young black men that are angry and broken in this world because their family fell apart, and it's not their fault. And my kids are they're not gonna be a statistic. They're gonna grow up with both of their parents, and we're gonna fix this. Like, this is what I was telling myself. But as the days go on, I was getting another bruise, another scratch, another scar. I was being told things that no man that says he loves you should ever tell a woman. He would say things like, I could do whatever I want to do to you, and nobody would care. You have nobody. Nobody loves you but me. Who's gonna want you with 2 kids? Where are you gonna go? You can't survive without me. We do everything together. You can't do it by yourself with 2 kids. Your family don't care about you, or else they would have tried to save you a long time ago. This man used to tell me those things on a regular basis. I remember one time I couldn't. He came to my job. He came to my job and threw a fit because I made his dinner, but I didn't put it on the plate and leave it on the table. And he came to my job and threw a fit in front of everyone. And I was actually pregnant at the time. And everyone ran out and was like, oh my God, are you okay? Who is that? And I was like, that's my husband. And they were like, oh my God. And he was saying stuff like, some stuff like, what kind of wife are you? Like, you cooked my dinner and didn't share it out. And you expect me to come home tired and share out my food while I'm not eating. And if I die for hunger, it's your fault. And I'm going to tell everybody you're a horrible wife. And then, I was just like, why would you come to my job and do this? And I was just standing there in tears. And I remember him saying, and that better be my baby too. And that better be my baby. Now, the funny thing is, I never told anybody this, but the funny thing is, I was pregnant with my second child at that time, and I honestly didn't want to be pregnant. He got me pregnant on purpose, but without my consent. And I know you're probably saying, like, well, how is that possible? Well, here's the thing. He wanted a child. He wanted a girl. He wanted a girl, okay? I was telling him that I don't want another child right now. I'm trying to finish nursing school. And he didn't care. He just wanted a girl. He didn't care. I kept telling him that our oldest is only 3. We don't need another child right now. We have stuff to do. Like, I was getting ready to put a down payment on a house, and I told him, like, no, I don't want another baby right now. Like, give me a couple years. Let me finish nursing school and stuff. He didn't want to hear that. He was like, you're my wife. I said I want a child, and you're going to give me a child. And he used to force himself on me. And he would say that I can't tell anybody that he raped me because I'm his wife. And I don't know about a lot of females, but I keep track of my cycle. I used to have a calendar in the bathroom where I would circle the days of my cycle and the whole 9. So he used to study it. And so he would know when I was getting my cycle, when I'm ovulating, and the whole 9. So basically, he got me pregnant on purpose. And I was very upset when I found out I was pregnant. I was very angry with him and upset because we had so much on the line. We had so much going on that would benefit us. I started a business for him, and it was taking off. And I was trying to finish nursing school, and we were looking for a house, and I was working like double shifts on top of double shifts on top of double shifts to come up with the down payment and the whole 9. The pregnancy was rough on me eventually, and it just made me hate him. It made me hate him. I didn't want to be pregnant, but he kept saying to me, I'm your husband. If I'm telling you I want a kid, then I want a kid, and it's your responsibility to give me what I want. But I wasn't ready for another kid. I didn't want another kid at the time. And it wasn't that I was denying him of that opportunity to have a girl, but we just weren't ready. And I just kept asking him for time, and he didn't care. He just wanted what he wanted. And so when I didn't even know I was pregnant, to tell you the truth. He kept coming to me and saying I'm pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was in denial. He kept saying, you're pregnant. You're pregnant. Look at your stomach. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Nope. I'm not pregnant. Nope. Like, guys, it was so detrimental to me that I was just thinking to myself, like, no. I can't believe this man did this to me. No. And hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so he kept saying to me, you're pregnant. And I would just be like, no, I'm not. I'm not pregnant. Like, I was in denial. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 4 months. Okay? I finally went to the doctor because, like, I used to go to the store and buy a whole bunch of tampons and pads, and I kept telling myself maybe I'm just stressed out, but I'm not pregnant because I told this man I don't want another baby. We got too much to do. And I found out I was pregnant at 4 months with my second child because I was in denial. And when I thought about how I got pregnant, it killed me because he came home drunk or high, one of them at the this point. I couldn't keep track anymore. And, it was his birthday. I was waiting for him all day. I planned out a special day for him, gifts and roses, whole nine. And that day, I will never forget it. Like, I went to check our account, and he took out money out of our account, and he went missing the whole day. And by the time he got home, he was just completely out of it. And he was arguing with me, expecting me to just have sex with him. And I was just like, where were you? Like, how? I don't understand. Like, it's your birthday. Where were you? Why? Just why? Like, I remember I was devastated. I was in tears, because it got to a point where he was lying and telling me that he was going to work and he wasn't at work. And he would leave the house. I would pack his lunch bag at 5 in the morning every morning, and he would be gone all day until 8, 9, sometimes midnight. He would be strolling through the door. And, that particular night, it was not a loving, passionate, intimate sex. Like, it was just like roughing me up, throwing me on the bed. It's his birthday. He wants some. Sorry. And that was it. Money was missing, and I was saying to him, like, I know it's your birthday and stuff, but we have a lot going on, and it's our joint account. Like, the least you could do is say something to me so I could pick up an extra shift or something to put it back. And, of course, he used that as a reason to hit me and stuff like that. So I was unhappy about that pregnancy, guys. I was very unhappy. I had to drop out of nursing school because that pregnancy became a high-risk pregnancy for me, and I was actually supposed to graduate that year. So I was devastated, and I had to cut my hours at work. So it's like now everything is changing, and he was not able to do the things that he used to be able to do because the finances were changing. And I'm not saying that he didn't provide for his family, because he worked as well, but I was the breadwinner in the relationship. So, and I definitely contributed to his behavior. I think that I spoiled him. I allowed him to have a little bit too much freedom, and I showered him with gifts and money and whatever because I just really wanted the abuse to go away. I wanted him to be happy, and I was tired of hearing that. I was just tired of hearing of the reasons why he would come up with whatever reason he had for, back to what I was saying. One night, I just couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my kids in the middle of the night. He was sleeping. He came home high, whatever. And he didn't even say 2 words to me. He left his dinner on the table. And he took a shower. And, that's another thing. I started realizing that he was taking a shower with antibacterial soaps when he came home. There's a Jamaican brand called Dettol. He was using that. And he was turning his back to me at night. And that particular day, we didn't have an argument, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the fact that he wasn't talking to me. He wouldn't hold me anymore. He wouldn't ask me how my day was going. He wouldn't he wouldn't even answer the phone when I would call him to ask him what he would want for dinner or how his day was going. He wasn't even talking to the kids. It's like my oldest son would say, "Daddy, can I have a cup of juice?" And he would just go haywire. Like, he would just start going crazy on our son, the oldest, because the baby wasn't born yet. My son has some traumatizing memories of his father. Let's just put it that way. And that's another thing we used to argue about, because I used to say to him, like, you know, whatever issues we have in our marriage is not the kid's fault. Like, don't treat them like that. As a mom, you can't sit back and watch your child be treated like that and be happy about it, or, you know, not say anything or not do anything. Guys, I'm not perfect, okay? But I believe that I was a good wife. I believe that I was a loyal, dedicated wife. You hear me? And half of the things that I went through, I don't think I deserved at all. And I believe a lot of women can say that they didn't deserve half the things that they went through, okay? I tried to leave on many occasions because I just couldn't. I felt like I was suffocating. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was going to work to stress and coming home to stress. I couldn't think straight, okay? I left many times. I moved in with a friend, family member. I used to tell them a whole bunch of lies just so I could stay with them. And I figured, I'm working, I'll find my way day by day. Like, that's just how crazy it was for me. And he used to say, well, you never loved me, or you never cared about me if you're gonna leave. And it used to make me come back every time, because I am not a fraud. I am not a fake. This love was never fake for me, okay? And I just realized it's classic manipulation by any abuser. And sis, if you're going through that, you gotta look out for that too. Like, they're gonna make you feel guilty. They're gonna try to make you feel like you were never genuine, you were never real, you didn't care about them, because you just can't take it no more, because you're just tired. You're tired of being mistreated and being unhappy. You're tired of crying. You're tired of feeling like trash, because you want to be there for somebody and love them to the core, to the bone, to the, you know what I mean. Okay? These men have ego trips where they feel like they could get away with murder with you, literally, because you show them how much you care, you show them how much you love them. And it's just as taking your kindness for weakness, so to speak. Okay? The more I tried to compensate for his insecurities and whatever reasons he had for doing what he was doing to us, is the more it got worse. Is the more he found different ways to try to manipulate and control me and the children. Guys, I would be at the grocery store. First of all, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. Only way I could go is work. Okay? And if I told him I was gonna go visit a family member or a friend, or go to the grocery store, he would never believe me. He would video call me up until I reached my destination, and then he would ask me, how long it's gonna take you to come back home? Make sure you don't stop along the way. I'm home waiting for you, so you need to hurry up. Stuff like that. Okay? And then, like, it's funny because he would go missing too. Like, there's days where he would just go missing. You know, money would be taken out of our account, and he would go missing for a couple days. No call, no nothing. And I remember times that I would run to his mom and cry to her and ask her to help. I was always crying to that lady and begging her to help, to talk to him, something. And she would never have nothing encouraging to say. She would just keep saying, like, well, it's got to be something that you're doing. And I'm like, well, ask your son, what am I not doing right? Let me, like, help me do something. I can't keep going to the hospital. I can't keep putting makeup on my skin to go to work to hide my bruises and stuff. I can't keep pretending like everything's okay when it's not. I can't keep hiding behind a plastic smile for the sake of my kids. You know, my boss is starting to tell me that, you know, you're one of the best employees I have, but I could tell, like, you're mentally not here, and I need you to focus when you're on the floor and stuff like that. Like, everybody around me is starting to see, and you, his mom, you see with your own two eyes. You see every day what I go through. You're the first person I'm crying to or calling. And you have nothing good to say to me but to say, oh, well, figure out what it is you're not doing. What am I not doing? Like, I cater to this man 24/7. I lived for this man. This man was my life. He was my life. He was my everything. I lived for him. Okay? There was nothing that he didn't want, that he didn't get. Nothing. He was more than comfortable, okay? My husband was never short of nothing. Never short of nothing. He didn't even have to go to work if he didn't want to. That's how much I spoiled my husband. And whatever money he brought home, I would tell him, like, all right, just this month, make sure you put groceries in the house and you could do whatever you want to do with the rest. Like, I spoiled my husband. I remember I bought him a car. He crashed it, turned around, bought him another one right after. Back to back, just like that. No questions asked. Because that's what he wanted. I did anything and everything to make that man happy. And it's mind-boggling because years down the line, now that I look at our family album, you know, he was smiling in every photo. Every photo he was smiling. But today he's telling people that he wasn't happy and I was the worst wife ever. Let me tell you something, sis. You can do all the right things for a man, okay? You could bend over backwards. You could do everything and anything for a man. It doesn't mean that he's going to appreciate you. It doesn't mean that he's going to love you for it, okay? Oftentimes we are taken for granted for the simplest things. Showing love and affection. Something as simple as that. This is why we live in such a cold world today. Nobody's willing to show affection and love because it is taken for granted. And it's sad. This man used to say things to me like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. Okay? This man giving me hell. He tried to take my kids from me because he left me in the hospital and I couldn't walk. He tried to take my kids from me. During our divorce, he was horrible. Okay? He took whatever money was left in our account and he disappeared. My child was like, my youngest was 6 months at a time. He disappeared. No phone call, no nothing for a year. A year straight. Okay? 1 year straight. Okay? And then I don't know what happened. I think it was the baby's birthday, his first birthday. and he just popped up out of nowhere saying he's sorry, he wants his family back, he wants to come home. And what did I do? Took him back like a devoted wife should have. Being in abusive relationships make you feel like you're not worth it. You're not good enough. You can't figure out how in the hell can somebody treat you like the way that they're treating you. It makes no sense. But that's why it becomes mental abuse, sis. And you need to tell yourself, you are worth so much more. You deserve so much more. And there is somebody out there that will love you, flaws and all. There is somebody out there that can love you. You are lovable. You are lovable. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're not lovable and that you're the worst in the world and that you're hard to deal with and that you have nobody except them. You have yourself. You can love yourself. You can do bad all by yourself. You don't need a man to do bad in this life. You were born by yourself. You're going to die by yourself. And you owe it to you to hold your head high. Wipe your tears. And look forward to better. Because you have two choices in this life. You can be better or you can be bitter. And I mean, sis, come on. We're already labeled as insecure, bitter, angry women in this world. So that's not an option. Prove it to yourself and to him that you are a queen. And you're going to be treated as such, no matter what. And it was hard for me to do what I'm telling you to do. It was so hard, believe me. There's times that I wanted to commit suicide. There's times where I gave up. I had no fight left in me. No fight left in me because I was alone and that's all I kept hearing. That's all he would say to me. You're alone. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's gonna love you. Where you gonna go when you leave me? Nobody's gonna want you with 2 kids. After a while, after you hear it over and over, you start to believe it. But I'm here to tell you, sis, like, no, don't let nobody tell you that. Where there's life, there's hope, okay? And once you have hope that things will get better, once you have hope that you will find a healthy relationship one day, you will have your fantasy, you will have your fairy tale one day. Once you have hope, you can rise above all the negativity that your abuser tells you. The only thing that sucks is it will always be your abuser's words against yours. Because they have that manipulation and control down pack where they tell people stuff and people just believe it. They feed into it. Like, for me, my ex-husband used to say I cheated on him. When? How did I have time to cheat on you when I was working 2 jobs? Okay, coming home in between breaks just to make you a meal, you and the kids a meal, maybe start laundry and go right back to the next job. And then if I wasn't doing that, I was on my way to school. Like, I had no time for myself. No time for myself, much less my kids, my young kids. And it used to eat me alive because I was always gone, but I had to. I had to be gone. I had to work. I had to provide. I had to be able to buy them whatever they need. I had to pay the bills. I had to have extra income coming in so we can take our family vacations. So you can go out with your friends and sport and, do what men do. I made you look good. I gave you a good life, and that was the hard work off of my back that did that. Women will ask themselves, what did I do to deserve this? And I'm here to tell you, sis, you didn't do nothing to deserve it.
Mom, are you done with your video?
No, please go in your room. You didn't do nothing to deserve it. Okay? Because even if you gave someone a reason to abuse you, that doesn't mean you deserve it. Nobody deserves to be treated like crap. Nobody. And people can only do to you what you allow. It's hard to get out. You feel trapped. You feel stuck. You don't know what to believe anymore. This person is telling you that they love you so much. You're their world. They can't do without you. But yet they're treating you like a stepping stone. They're treating you like a bag of trash out on the roadside. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to hold on to. You literally feel like your life is slipping away. You feel like your breath is leaving your body. And there's nobody to help you or save you or recognize that you're going through it because you're hiding it. You're pretending like everything is okay. So you can't even reach out to anybody and say, I need help to get out. I need to get out. Because they're going to be lost. Like, when did this even start? When did this even happen? Oh, yeah, it's your fault because you stayed. No woman wants to be in an abusive relationship. And like I said before, we don't see it coming. So when people say, oh, that you chose to be with this person, or it's your fault, how? When you had no clue that this is what your relationship would resort to. You had no clue. Nobody would choose abuse for themselves. Nobody. It's not what we chose. It's what happened to us. Okay? It's what happened to us. It's what happened to me. I remember when I finally did break down and start telling my family, they all said this to me. You chose to marry him. You chose to keep taking him back. So stay in it. But what are you supposed to do when it's your family? It's your family, your husband and your kids. It's your family. Like, what are you supposed to do? And if you don't, then you're told that you're a horrible woman. You're not a good woman. Those are the mental trips that abuse do to you as a woman. It's hard to leave because you don't know what the future holds. You're being told that, who's going to want you. And nobody could have you if I can't have you. Which means that even if you try to move on, that person, your abuser, is going to mess it up for you. By any means necessary. They won't let you move on and be happy. That's the control and the manipulation. So you're scared because you don't know if you can get away from the control. You don't know if you can beat him at his own game. Because remember, being married, Your friends are his friends, and his friends know you. They may not necessarily be your friend because his friends know what he's doing to you and they're okay with it. They're rooted on. So they're not your friends. But he knows your friends. He knows your family. He knows everything. So even if you try to get out, he has access to you in that way. He knows your bank account. He knows everything. Where you work, everything. Trust me, sisters, when I tell you, I went through nothing pretty. It was life and death for me. And I don't know if you're a believer like I am, but I thank God that I made it out alive. Because I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it, y'all. I had nobody and nothing. I had to start from scratch. I had to run for my life and for my kids' sake. Okay? This man used to really make me believe that I wasn't worth it and that I would never be happy after him. And it used to make me wonder, like, yeah, he's right. How am I gonna survive with two young kids? One was 3, 4, and one just turned 1. What am I gonna do? I have no friends. He chased away all my friends. I had no friends. And I was hiding from my family what I was going through, so I had literally no family. He was my family. He was my best friend. He was all I had. And I was just so lost and confused. Where am I gonna go? He took all the money in our account. I was sick from the last time he made me end up in the hospital. I could barely walk. I couldn't go back to work. Like, it was just so much things going on. And the reason why women stay is because, yeah, they don't know what the future holds. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know how they're going to survive. But it's all in your head, sis. I'm here to tell you it's all in your head. You need to just take the first step. You need to do something. If you have any ounce of love left for yourself, choose you. Don't think about nothing else and nobody else, because I promise you it all will play out once you make the first step. Don't consider how you gonna survive. Don't consider where the money gonna come from. Don't consider who's gonna help you, who's gonna protect you. Don't consider none of that. Just go while you can. While you still have breath left in your body, while you still have a working conscious mind. God gave you all the good common senses to survive in this world. As a woman, use it. You have the wisdom, you have the knowledge. You could do it, sis. If I could do it, you could do it. I ran for my life. I couldn't take no more. The last time he attacked me, I saw my life flash before my eyes, okay? I think I was dead. I think I was. And I remember hearing my son's voice in the background. Mommy, you okay? Mommy, answer me. Mommy? I remember that. And I remember my mom. She came to see me in the hospital and she said to me, I can't take this no more. I gotta go. And I said, where you going? She said, I gotta go. You on your own now. Let's see how much you love yourself and your children. And I kid you not, she packed her stuff that week. think it was that weekend. And she moved across town, and I never heard from her or saw her. She changed her number and everything, and she was all I had left. She was the only hope I had left. But that's what I needed to realize, like, enough is enough. It's not about loving him anymore. It's not about being his rock anymore. Be your own rock. You need yourself. You need to love yourself. Who is loving you? Who is taking care of you? Who is protecting you? You're busy giving your all to somebody else that doesn't want it, doesn't appreciate it. So do it for you. Give your all to yourself. You have one shot at life. One. And you owe it all to yourself. People saw with their own eyes what I was going through, and they still believed him. This man, when we were getting a divorce, he started telling people that I was cheating and the whole works, and they believed him, even though they saw everything I was going through with their own two eyes. You have nothing to prove to people. That is a losing battle. Let them believe the foolishness, because the truth will reveal itself in due time, in due season. Now he's the one with a newborn baby. Now he's the one with a female that was harassing me and texting me and stalking me and the whole nine. Okay? So the truth revealed itself. He was the cheater, not me. But people believed it. People believed it. And, you know, that's another thing with these men. To cover their tracks, they start to put you down in any way they can, any shape or form. They start to disgrace you. They start to spread rumors. They start to tear you down. They try to block your bread. They try to do everything and anything to try and cover their tracks. But the truth will always reveal itself, sis. You have nothing to defend. Defend your honor by getting the heck away from this man. That's what you do. Get away. And don't look back. Okay? This man used to attack me in public, broad daylight. And he would get away because everybody's like, that's your husband. I can't do nothing. That's your husband. I can't say nothing. That's your husband. That's all I would hear. Broad daylight. I would be at cookouts. He would be attacking me in broad daylight in the middle of a cookout. I'll be at the bank. He pop up. Whoa, what you doing? What you doing? Like, I want some money to go on the road. I need, like, listen. This man used to attack me in broad daylight, and nobody could say nothing or do nothing. Even the police, because they would say, that's your husband. Do you know how hard it was? We had 5 restraining orders. 5. And by law, with a restraining order, if there's a full no contact, you can't live together. We had to live together through those restraining orders. Do you know how hard that was? How messed up my mind was? I had to live with my abuser. There's a full no contact. I could go to jail. I could lose my kids. I could lose everything. But I had to stay because I was scared to leave. I was scared to leave. And he would always say, what are you going to tell my kids? You're going to tell my kids that I don't love them? Huh? That's what you women do. You tell my kids that I don't love them, and you're just going to up and go and take them from me? You're going to take my kids from me? You know how much I love my kids? Yeah, I went through hell. I remember my bank cards, my credit cards would go missing. Money would go missing, okay? I went through hell and back in my marriage. And yes, I have bruises and scars and embarrassment and shame that will stick with me for the rest of my life. But now I could sit here in front of you and tell you my story. I could help and save a life. I'm still breathing, I'm still here. I could try and create new memories for myself. I can try and create a new future for me and my kids. That is the bright side of trying to get out. Don't be scared. And don't believe the negative things that you're being told by your abuser. Don't. I remember being pregnant, 7 months pregnant with my second child, and he came in late one night, and I said, can I get some tea? My stomach is hurting me really bad. I think I was eating some chips, pregnancy cravings and the whole nine. And this man was so mad I asked him for a cup of tea. You know what he did? He got up and turned on the kettle and threw the hot water on me. I was 7 months pregnant. The water missed me by an inch, but my clothes were soaked. And all I could think about is my child that was inside of me and my other child that was curled up in his bed. And I remember that night like it was yesterday. I had to keep my soaking wet clothes on, dripping of hot water, and scoop my 3-year-old out of his bed and grab my car keys and run. Okay, I don't know where I was running to, but I had to run. Because me just asking my husband for a cup of tea gave him some type of rage inside. He was furious. He didn't want to get up and make me a cup of tea. And remember, he's the one who wanted me pregnant. I didn't want to be pregnant. I didn't want this baby. That night I drove in circles. I had nothing to wrap my kid up in. He was in his pajama shirt and his diapers. He had nothing on. No, and his slippers. He had some Elmo slippers. And I had to drive around with him in my lap all night and wait for my husband to leave for work. He left for work around 6 a.m. every morning, and I had to drive around all night. That night, I think I left out at like 1:30. It was like 1:30, 1:45. And I remember calling my father, and I was crying. I was like, Dad, I can't live like this. I can't. I need help. I will work, and I will pay you. I will help you pay your mortgage. I'll do whatever, but me and my kids can't live like this. And he just like, I gotta go to work. I can't be on the phone with you right now. And he hung up. And I drove around in my truck all night with my kid in my lap until my husband went to work that morning. And I ran in the house as soon as he left. Okay, I told the neighbor to text me when he leaves. And I actually managed to see when he was leaving. And I ran in the house and I grabbed an extra uniform for work. I grabbed extra underwear, extra clothes for my son. And I left my son with a friend. An old friend that I haven't seen in God knows when. But I knew that I didn't want to leave my son with him. Because our schedules were like this. When he goes to work, I'm home. And then when I go to work, he's home. So we used to alternate for the sake of babysitting. I didn't want to leave my kid with him. I was terrified. And my stomach was cramping. I couldn't even go to the doctor because we had a restraining order. And I didn't want the doctors to know that he did it to me and that I was still living with him. So I had to bear the cramping and the pain. I left my son with the friend. I said, I gotta go to work. I'll be right back after work. And I think I ended up leaving work that night, asking her if I could take a shower. And then I was just driving around on the road all day, until he would go back to work. Like, that's what I had to do. That's what I had to do to try and stay away from him. I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't. I didn't want my son to be in that anymore. Guys, there's so much that happened. There's so much that happened that I really can't share with you guys. But just know that I should be dead right now. And I swear to God on my kids, I am not trying to fabricate a story for you guys. This is my true story. This is my living story. I live this. And there's so much more to it. Maybe I'll do a part 2. But for now, I want you to hear my story. I want you to assert yourself and give yourself the strength and the courage. If you are in an abusive relationship, leave. There's no amount of love that can make you stay in something like that. That is not love. It's not love, sis. It's not. Don't you ever convince yourself that it's love. Love don't hurt. Love is patient and kind. Love will never want to see you shed a tear. Love protects you. Love uplifts your mind, body, and soul. And I realized that, I'm going to end it here, but I want to say this. I realized that sometimes we look for comfort in the wrong people. If you find the courage to ask a friend or a family member advice on your abusive relationship, and it just seems like they have everything negative to say, that's because they don't know no better themselves. They probably would have stayed too. They probably would have tolerated it too. They don't know no better either. So sometimes we have to be careful who we confide in or ask advice for. You just have to believe in yourself. That's all it takes. Believe in yourself. Trust your instinct that this is not good for you. This is not it. It's not a matter of you're giving up. You're not giving up. You're choosing you. That ain't giving up. You're giving yourself a chance to live again. You're giving yourself a chance. Because when I used to cry to his mom, I realized that she didn't know what to tell me because her husband is worse than my husband. And that's his father. She didn't know what to say because she stayed too. She tolerated it too. Don't look for advice in people or guidance from people. You have to trust yourself and love yourself enough, sis. That's all I can tell you. I thank you. I thank all of you for supporting me so far. If you haven't already, go check out my ebook on Amazon. It's called A Walk from Violence. And I don't mean just physical violence. I mean any type of violence done to a woman, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, everything. Okay, so far I've gotten good word that my book is a good read. It has helped a lot of other young females, and I want to help you. So can you please go check out my book on Amazon? It's an ebook, okay, and it's free for Kindle members. Maybe I'll even do another sale for you guys. But go check out my book. Okay? Continue to support. Continue to subscribe. Share my channel. I'm here to uplift women. I'm here to teach women that you matter. Okay? And I'm just so greatly humbled. I never thought that I would make it out. I never thought that my life would turn the way it has. But I'm here. I have a sense of peace now that I have never had before. And I could look forward to my future because I know that it's full of blessings, full of joy, full of happiness. And this is only the beginning. Only the beginning. If you haven't checked me out yet on IG or Facebook, do so. Okay? Keep in contact with me. You could DM me at any time. I have a Facebook group also where I allow people to express how they feel. You know, if they are in toxic relationships, I post often in that group to encourage people to know that you are not alone and you're not the first or the last. Okay? So far, I've helped a couple marriages, I've helped a couple relationships, and I'm excited for this new journey, and I want to save as many women as I can along the way. I want you guys to stay with me on this journey, okay? Because I'm going to be a living example for you. I think we all need that, and I want to do that. So thank you so much for your support so far. God bless. Peace.